Hey everybody, we're here to play Lyre with FullPurp and Jericho Ogami now? Is that what you're going by?
You do not need to call me that.
The new name change. The new specifically husband of BNA boy.
Okay.
How does it feel to be the last person on the planet that remembers Shiro in 2024? Chapter 1, Day 1 of Lyre. A game that is finished except for that it's not, in a way. It's finished in that it has completed a book, but there are going to be more books.
Yay!
The dangerous game we play here. I will run out of finished games to choose from very quickly at this rate. I'm crawling out of the rubble. I crush snow between my fingers. A numbness caresses my side as my stomach lays flat on the cold snowfall. Let's turn the text speed down. There we go. I can barely see anything in front of me. I hear clutter and chaos all around, but it's very faint. Like a whisper. I can also hear men shouting in pain. The groans are muffled by the snow and wind. I lay my face into my arm and rest. My nose feels like it might just fall off. Breathing hurts. My lungs sting with cold air. My mouth tastes like metal. Hot metal. Through all the chaos, and the screams, and the rush of cold wind whistling past my ears, I hear a voice. Who wants to be a random voice?
Is that him? Thank God it is! Get him out of there, quickly!
A pair of paws grab me by the arms, and the movement makes it harder to stay conscious. I slowly succumb to the sleep my body has been yearning for. It feels like I've been awake forever. I've wanted to sleep for so long. Do I press A again? I do. In the darkness, I hear another voice. It's muffled, as if someone's speaking to me through a wall. I hardly understand what they're saying. I try to ask him to repeat himself, but I'm dragged through my slumber as if someone's thrown a rope around me. I roll over on the cool bed sheets, feeling the air around me settle on my skin. My eyes open to a thick light pouring down above me, hitting the foot of the bed I'm laying in. I hear the distant clatter of metal, along with voices. It feels like a cold fall afternoon, and there's a stuffy smell that lingers around me as I see dust particles dancing in the light. My mouth is dry and tastes horrible. It's like I haven't cleaned my teeth in a week. My heart starts to rhythmically beat in my chest, picking up pace with every sound. I hope it was already doing that. I look down at my body and notice that I have thick bandages wrapped around my torso. I reach out with my shaking hand just around my stomach and feel a twinge of pain near the lower half of my gut. My mind is racing with questions. Where am I? And why am I covered in bandages? What happened to me? Why does my head hurt so much? I bring my hands up to my head and feel around. I don't feel any bumps or bandages, and there's no pain on the outside. It seems I've only been injured down to my waist. I must need water. That's most likely the reason why my head aches. I cautiously sit up from the bed. As I do this, the feeling of all the blood rushing to my head makes everything go dark for a moment. I shift in the bed. You ever just sit up and then you cease to exist for a few seconds?
It's the worst feeling.
Just flee your body. You get a little fainting as a treat. I shift in the bed and slowly wriggle myself out from underneath the covers. I go to throw my legs over the side of the bed and stumble a bit as I steady myself on the cold floor. I look around the decorated room I'm in. It is cozy, with a nicely sized bed, a desk, and a slightly open glass door where I can see the afternoon light shining down onto the floor. A few bottles and bowls of medicine are strewn about, laying on the cabinet in front of me. I carefully begin to walk to the door with a wave of fatigue when a wave of fatigue washes over me. Everything seems to kick in at once as I'm slowly crouching to the ground. I crawl to the floor and lay there for a second, waiting for it to pass. As I lay there, feeling my insides twist around and dance in my body, the door opens. Little gremlin.
It's a little guy.
It's this little guy. He's hiding behind the subtitles. I met with a creepy figure in a dark green robe, wearing a pointed mask and a hat. They look as if they were on a mission, but stop in the doorway. I feel their gaze fall on me from behind the dark goggles. Who wants to be this guy, this old game?
I think I'm getting Jericho vibes from this one. I'm casting out a lot.
Ah, you're awake. Good, yes.
He stutters this out with much effort in an odd voice. It's a bit high with a posh cadence.
Oh dear, wait here for a moment, please. I'll be right back with help.
He prances and stumbles back to the doorway, his feathery tail floating behind him. The door swings in slowly, but stops before it can fully close. Wait. The noise that escapes my throat is hoarse and exits my lips through a puff of breath. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt to speak, but it certainly sounds awful. All I can do is lay there as I hear him scuttle off, calling someone's name. He's scurried down the hallway, and his voice is already muffled by the mask that he's wearing, so I can't make out the name he's calling out. The squeamish feeling slowly subsides. What an odd fellow. Though I suppose it's not far off. I'm the one lying here on the ground, half naked and barely able to speak. Just as the cold floor starts to feel nice, I hear muffled voices from outside the door. One of them I recognize as the bird, another seems soft, deep, and annoyed. Who's soft, deep, and annoyed between us?
I will take on the burden of this character that is soon coming to. Of course, the minute I leave for a drink, something happens. How long has he been awake?
I don't know. He was just lying there on the floor.
On the floor? Why?
He probably tried to get out of bed.
Is he okay?
Well, not really. He seemed to be in some pain, but that's expected.
Maybe he was just scared of you?
What are you getting at?
Leaf, I respect you tremendously, but that mask makes you look ridiculous.
The bird sputters and lets out some exasperated noises.
It's a safety precaution.
It's a fursuit. The other voice just chuckles. I hear their footsteps get closer until they're right outside the door. With a light knock on the door, it swings open.
You'd never catch me wearing one of those.
The short, cloaked bird shuffles into the room carrying a bag. His design almost makes him look like he's got one of those, like, the big bandages people put on their furries' noses.
Yeah,
got, like,
it's a very pronounced patch.
Yeah. Walking behind him is a wolf man. He's very tall, almost having to bend over to walk through the doorway. I assume the doorway was not meant for a man of his stature. He closes the door behind him, gripping the knob gently in his large paw. His right eye is scarred, and he has a semi-annoyed expression on his face, contrary to his tail swishing left and right. His armor is elegant, yet also very bulky. Large and white, with fur trimming and metal plate armor. A heavy cape drapes around him with a blue interior. I see a symbol from the breastplate, which I can recognize as the king's family sigil, a pair of antlers stretching high. He's coated with a dark brown fur, which is very fluffy around the neck. His eyes trail around the room before landing on me. He walks forward and clears his throat.
Do you need any help?
I nod my head. He stands there awkwardly before walking forward, his padded feet thumping against the smooth floor. He doesn't wear boots. Full armor, no shoes. The armor then proceeds to kneel down, his face growing closer to mine. He pauses before hesitantly touching me, and then he picks me up. I feel his large paws supporting me on the underside of my legs. The wolf lifts me high and then adjusts me in his grip so that I don't fall. His neck fur grazes against my face as he carries me over to the bed and lays me down in it, gently reclining me back against one of the large pillows. I mumble out some appreciation. Thank you. He grunts in response.
God, Leaf, it's fucking cold in here. At least make him decent and give him a shirt to wear.
How are you cold?
I'm not, but the floor feels like ice.
Either way, clothing would mess with the bandages and fresh air would do him some good. I'm sure that he's fine.
I sit up in bed with some hesitation and open my mouth to speak. I'm sorry, but who are you? The two turn and look at me, and as Leaf makes a motion to speak, the wolf places a paw on his shoulder.
My name is Lyle Reed. I am the captain of the Royal Guard.
Lyle from Lyre. Lyle, pants on. Pants look better on my floor. He says this is with a certain twinge of proudness, his tail swishing slightly.
And this is the royal family's physician, Leaf.
He nudges Leaf in the side with his paw.
Yes, I'm sure we can dispense with the formalities for now. Richter, do you remember anything before the crash?
I look down at my torso and the two connect. So that's what happened.
You can't remember?
He has a curious look on his face, and his eyes stare into mine with extreme intensity, while Leaf scuttles over to the bedside table. Kind of. It's all a bit vague.
Here, have some water.
Leaf walks over to me carrying a small goblet of water. I accept it cautiously, bringing it to my lips and taking a short drink. Slowly it all starts to come back to me, as if I had just woken up after a horrible dream. I was on my way north to the Kingdom of Lyre, as an ambassador for the Kingdom of Erin. It was during the 11th day of travel when it happened. As we were nearing the outskirts of the kingdom, I remember minding my own business in the small, closed-off cart. Just imagining, like, living in an era in a place where you have to, like, spend 2 weeks getting somewhere. How different of a world that is. Kind of want to get that experience sometime, just do, like a road trip across the country or something kind of experience. Just to be like...
I thought you were saying, like, medieval times, but it's Westworld.
Suddenly there was a loud rumbling noise and shouting. I wonder how people would respond to a VN that has a fantasy setting or something like that for like 6 months of updates, and then you find out they're robots or something.
It's all simulation. Probably pretty damn well. That would be, I think the Redditors would be all about that kind of a twist.
I don't know.
I've known since day one.
It depends on how it's handled, I guess. Like if it's genuinely reveal, I don't know how people... I think about like there's certain comics I've read, and then it's like after like 6 months or a year, suddenly the creator will reveal, and also they're all demons or something, and then everyone like hates the reveal.
I know that one.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I thought it was no, keep drawing it, and then they stop. I miss Mundi, even if no matter what the response was. Suddenly there was a loud rumbling noise and shouting. I can't really remember much of what happened, just everything before blacking out.
On the mountain pass just outside the city, there was an avalanche. It wiped through most of your small entourage and killed some men. When our rangers came upon where it happened, your carts and wagons were almost decimated.
You had a piece of splintered wood lodged in your side. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything vital, and you seem to have recovered well over the past 4 days.
While Lyle rants about how the mountain pass is now too dangerous to take anymore, I look down at my side and feel the bandages. It's painful, but not enough to cause me to wince. I'm curious about the reveal that it's like a natural calamity that happened, and that's why we're wounded. Because like you get the on the face of it, you're like, okay, we're an ambassador, so that tells me we're here to
political.
Yeah, lucky accident.
Yeah, like if something happened to us, you expect it to be like some kind of politically motivated attack. So maybe it'll be revealed that somebody like orchestrated the avalanche or something. But if not, it'd be like feels like it'd be a slightly weird choice to make it actually genuinely just a coincidence, because it's like because that doesn't lead to intrigue. So I'm curious. It's painful, but not enough to cause me to wince. I was out for 4 days?
Aside from the occasional stirring in your sleep.
Rookie numbers. I quickly try to shake off the thought of someone watching me sleep. Even if it's for good intentions, it's not something I'd want. It would have been scary, waking up in the middle of the night to a large wolf in the corner watching me sleep. Finally, I've manifested the correct sleep paralysis demon. Well, I hope this hasn't cut into anything important.
Don't worry, things have been quite slow. There hasn't been much to discuss as we're still waiting for the ambassador from Driz.
He falls silent, at first staring out the window behind me before his eyes fall back down. His tail swishes slightly, and after an awkward pause, he speaks again.
The king assigned me to be your personal guard.
The statement surprises me. I was not expecting the king to assign me a guard, let alone the captain himself. I thought I would be completely on my own without any retainers. As I'm thinking this, Leaf moves over to the other side of the room and fiddles with something in his little bag. I'm sure that you will do a fine job, sir. I'll make sure to give my thanks to the king. Lyle grimaces a bit and his nose twitches.
You can just refer to me as Lyle.
I give him a slight nod. Okay. This certainly isn't the introduction I had hoped for. One moment I'm sitting in my cart heading around the mountain pass. I'd be received by the king himself. Instead I wake up in what I assume to be in what I assume to be my new chambers, unfortunately having missed everything important for my arrival. It's also known as skipping all of the tedious scenes and having them not happen. Where you greet people for 3 hours and do a bunch of official decrees and stuff. Nothing of importance may have happened, but I'm certain more could have been achieved had I been awake. As kind as these two are, the situation I find myself in is less than preferable. I sigh and shake my head. Well, as long as I wasn't holding anyone up for a terribly long amount of time. My thoughts still dwell on the crash. I haven't really had enough time to let it settle in that people just died. That I almost died. It's a shame that avalanche happened, and I'm very thankful that your rangers were able to save my life and many others. Lyle gives a slight smirk of acknowledgement, and I can already tell that he's a bit modest, even if his tail is sweeping the ground.
I'm sure they'd be happy to hear that.
Leaf struts over to me with a small bowl of some weird, mushy substance. It looks familiar, but I haven't had to take that much medicine in my life.
Here's something to ease the pain. This is most likely the last time you'll have to take it, considering you've healed very quickly.
I stare down at the bowl in discomfort as Leaf drones on about the unique healing process innate in humans, along with other stuff I didn't care to focus on. I take the small bowl and drink down the strange mix. It has a thick consistency. The texture is like eating gritty mud. Ugh. Not that I've ever done that before. Good save. we'll trust you. The taste, however, is not as bad as I thought it would be. It has a savory flavor that's very hard to describe. Still not pleasant enough for me to thoroughly enjoy.
If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at your bandages and also see how your recovery is coming along.
I look down at my side and lift the covers a bit. I suppose. Leaf walks around to the other side of the bed and begins to awkwardly unwrap the bandages with his gloved hands. When I catch Lyle watching from across the room, he quickly averts his gaze. He certainly is expressive, though he tries to hide it. Though it does make me wonder why he stares so much. I assume it's because humans are so rare this far north. Leaf finishes unwrapping the bandages, and I finally get a good look at the wound. It looks a bit messy, a dark red color around the skin, and the scar it left behind isn't pretty.
Ah, it's coming along nicely.
He's gotta be kidding. He takes a damp sponge and begins to lightly dab and rub at it. The wound cleans up well, and after a minute, Leaf rubs some weird cream on it with a sponge, and he seems to be done. Lyle is turned around, meekly fidgeting with something on the desk.
I'm surprised to see that you're getting better. You should be able to walk without risk of opening the wound. Just try to take it slow.
Will I be needing a bath? God, yes, at this point. I blurt this out, not realizing how sudden I was. The birth sniffles a chuckle and responds.
No, I don't think that'll be necessary. I gave you a couple of sponge baths.
Weird vibe. It makes sense. It makes sense. It's just sponge baths are so weird. And being sponge bathed in your sleep is a really weird thing to realize has happened.
By a guy like a quarter your size.
Yeah.
Well, Lyle here even elected to help with one.
Or a guy twice your size.
Okay. Several different contexts here. It went from Gulliver Travels sponge bath to getting manhandled by Amicus.
Yes.
He what?
Leaf.
He saw everything. Leaf lets out a reedy giggle and Lyle covers his face with his paw.
He's very helpful, this one.
That's good to hear. Thank you. Leaf seems to be happy to hear that his efforts were appreciated, and I can hear his tail lightly flipping up and down, rhythmically tapping against the ground for a second.
I'm always happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else.
I don't know if I'd be more or less socially anxious if I had 500 tells about my emotional responses to things. Have the way that furries have like ears and tails and everything that just signal to people around you all the time what you're thinking.
Lyle in particular, like I think he's kind of got that about like Amicus's design, where it's the giant eyes with tiny pupils and especially the thick eyebrows. It's like there's immediately vibes coming off him at all times. So I like that a lot about Lyle's design.
I wonder if there's like furries that like, that'd be a fun world building thing, is have furries that have learned how to control their like subconscious body functions and like use them to lie and act and stuff. Like they act, like being able to actually make your ears and tail respond how you'd want instead of being a reveal of what you're actually thinking. Because that's part of the appeal of like a dog man in general, is that like there's an inherent increase of honesty, because there's just like besides the fact that dogs themselves are just like very straightforward and kind of dumb, there's just the idea that like oh, this is a person that keeps like revealing their emotional state constantly.
It's kind of like I mentioned Alexios doing his little like, you know, stony expression, but then it's like, oh, you're a cat, so that's just the cat thing.
He had to be a cat for that reason. Like it was that game cares a lot about who's a cat and who's a dog and so on for reasons other than just being like, it's fun. I just felt like picking that animal. And with that, he picks up his bag and makes his way to the door before turning to Lyle.
I'll leave the rest to you, Sir Reed.
I keep almost misreading it as Lial, like, because I keep almost wanting to say y'all, because that's my reaction whenever I see Y-A-L-L together. He shuffles through the doorway and it closes behind him with a soft thud. An awkward silence settles over the room. Lyle is clearly uncomfortable with it, so he speaks up.
Leaf usually knows what he's talking about. But are you sure you're okay? Nothing else giving you any discomfort? I'm trying to get the Blade Louis bassiness here, but I apologize to the Lyle stands here. That's absolutely what's in my mind was him reading.
Step 1, be Welsh.
Yeah, exactly.
He gives me a look of concern for a moment, then his eyes dart around the room. Aside from my body feeling sore, after being awake for a bit, I feel better. I feel good enough, I suppose. Just a bit weak. He looks at me with a smile and adjusts himself. Uh-huh.
Well, if you want to get dressed, your clothes and other things were brought up.
He gestures over to the corner of the room where I can see my trunks and belongings.
Or maybe you'd like to eat something. I'd be pleased to help you with anything you might need.
Even though I'm wrapped in bandages around my torso, I still feel underdressed. So I guess putting on some clothes would definitely help. Unless you want to be a mummy for Halloween. That reference doesn't work in time-wise by the time this video comes out, but it's almost Halloween right now. I make a motion to rise, but Lyle shoots me a worried look.
Maybe I could start with getting you something to wear.
Sure. Just get me the outfit from that trunk over there, please. I point to the trunk on the left, which has one of my nicer outfits. I like how the language almost implies that he has one outfit per trunk, and that's all of the trunks. It was going to be the one I would wear for the king. I'm glad to see that it survived the crash. He makes his way over to the pile of trunks, his cape gliding across the floor behind him with each careful step. Lyle looks very out of place in this room. Everything looks so small compared to him. He bends down and unlatches the trunk, pausing to look at its contents before proceeding to cautiously sift through it. His ears perk up and really high when he finds the outfit. He clumsily stands from his kneeling position and walks over to the side of the bed carrying the outfit. It's nothing too fancy. I may have some form of noble status, but I don't tend to overplay it. It is, however, the nicest outfit I own that fits the climate. Made from fine silks and velvet, with the teal colors pop in the afternoon light. Oh no, we're matching. Tailcoats are not usually my favorite article of clothing to wear, as I lean towards robes or jackets on most occasions. Couples' outfits are supposed to contrast. It's safe to say that the outfit is not worn as much as the others. Lyle places the outfit on my bed and takes a step back.
Is this the one?
He says this with a bit of worry, as if he made the wrong decision. Yes, it is. I sit up and grab onto the pair of pants. I go to change and realize what's wrong with this. Should I bathe first? Lyle looks at me with a dismissive gaze, then talks.
You smell fine to me.
I don't.
Yeah.
Not exactly the
You smell
question I
different when you're
asked.
awake.
You smell different when you're awake.
Intrusive wolf thoughts.
I guess someone like him would be the best judge of that. I go to unbutton my trousers but stop, realizing that he's watching. Look at that goofy face.
He's cute.
Do you mind looking the other way?
Oh, of course.
He quickly turns on his heel and stands at the other side of the room, staring out the window, the light eclipsing around his dark fur. I take off my trousers and undergarments, putting on a new fresh pair and then fasten the new slacks. I'm surprised a shower was not warranted. Then again, I was given a bath or two, was I not? Yep, we talked about this. Still facing the window, he speaks to me, his voice bouncing off the glass. There's a hint of embarrassment in his voice.
You were?
As I secure the last button, I lift my head and speak in his direction. Okay, you're good.
Apologies.
He turns away from the window quickly, like a soldier being given orders. I reach down for the shirt and bring it up over my head. As my arms rise above my head, I feel a sharp pain in my side and wince. Liao clearly sees this and looks concerned.
Maybe I should help.
No, it's fine. I just need to... I slide my arms through the sleeves, and my head pops up through the collar. The shirt is fitted, with buttons lining several parts of it. It seems that over the years, close-fitting garments have become increasingly popular. Foreshadowing for future bulges. Before I'm able to finish putting on the vest, Liel is walking around the other side of the bed carrying the tailcoat. He lifts it up, motioning to put it on me.
Oh.
Get a close-up. Liel.
There's been a couple CGs that were not, or at least there's been the one CG that was not in the build that I played or the build that you guys played last year. So this is clearly still...
I remember seeing a post about like an anniversary update where like they're working on adding or changing CGs with new art.
Yeah, this was in the version that you and Poster played, but
yeah. I always think about the webcomic effect, where it's like one of the best ways to improve at drawing is probably to like give yourself a project where you keep having to draw. So it's like, when somebody has a webcomic, it's very interesting to watch. Just to read anyone's webcomic and see how rapidly their art style improves over the course of like the first 100 parts of it, because they're just having to draw so much and they have a project. Because like, since they have a story that they're telling, there's like a blueprint for what to draw next and so on. So it keeps you moving and keeps you having something to work on instead of having to brainstorm or being like, I don't know, maybe I won't draw today. Like suddenly you have like both a goal and a schedule, and you can see people change rapidly. I think about that too with like, it's very noticeable with like Ad Astra, like Haps's art style changed rapidly over the course of just the first game's CGs, let alone how different they are every time they try to do a sequel and so on.
Yeah.
To the point where like with the delays with Chemia, by the time they went back to it, they're like, okay, time to redo all of the art because it's not going to match. Because it's not going to match at all. Yeah. It's like, well, it's been years again, and artists just rapidly change.
It's probably safe to say that AMAC will go through the exact same kind of thing here, because I know they're working on like a book 2, and it's going to be same character, but like God knows what Lyle 2.0 is going to be.
Yep. It would be insane to try to redo the sprites, because that's so much fucking work. But I can see the temptation to redo like CGs that are from the beginning. It's cool. It makes me want to work on something like this just so I could like have like art. Structured art goals that keep me going. He drapes the coat over me slowly, with the collar fitting around my neck. I carefully embrace it and start putting it on. So, you're going to be my guard?
If you'll have me.
He says this with an uncertain look on his face. I guess it wouldn't hurt. I really don't mind it. I don't know if I'll need the protection, but it's always nice to be prepared. It's also nice to have a guide of sorts to show me around.
For the best, really.
I feel like the silhouette should not be transparent. Like the bleed through looks slightly weird, and it like interrupts with like the read of the silhouette.
It's a little noisy, but
yeah,
I see what they're going for like this unified. It's mostly, I can't figure out like how they determine when that's there or not, because it's not always there.
I think it started showing up once everyone got names.
Okay.
It showed up with us first because we don't need to question mark ourselves. We already know that who we are, even if the reader doesn't. Once everyone got names, it seemed to start showing them up. So I think they're going to be there consistently. But it being semi-translucent, I feel like just makes it noisy. Because it's not like you're going to like... I figure you're not going to like effectively see what's behind it necessarily. Did I skip the last one by already? Did you read that one already?
I think I did say, or maybe no.
Nope.
Almost half of your men were wiped out in that disaster. The king thought you could use some extra paws. Always use extra paws. And I can show you the castle and escort you around town.
Ghost paws? I would like that a lot. Seeing the town would be nice. Although I don't know if I'll have time to make a whole day out of it. That sounds nice.
As captain, I'm able to handle most of my duties very quickly, so time shouldn't be an issue. In the mornings, I'm all over the place, but after that, I rarely have much to do unless something arises.
I could handle you quickly.
The king also thought that you might like to have someone in a high position that you can trust.
He says this with a certain proudness in his voice and a slight smile. I decide to humor him. What makes you think I trust you? I say this in a joking manner, awaiting a reaction from him. He stops moving one of the sleeves up my arm for a moment, then starts again, and his mouth twists into an embarrassed smile. Don't worry, I was only joking.
Very funny.
It was not funny. That's not the face of someone who thought that was funny. He grumbles to himself as I fasten the buttons on the front. So, you watched me while I slept? He was taken aback by the statement.
I'm your guard. I was stationed outside your room to keep watch. Believe me, it's not something I chose to do. It's not like you're in any danger or anything.
You mistake me. That's not what I was worried about. I'm worried why you were up so late in the night. Do you take both day and night shift? I find it very hard to sleep if I did that.
I don't need to sleep all that much. Plus, I feel more awake at night.
Oh yeah, I've heard that some people don't need as much sleep as humans. Maybe 3 to 4 hours within a 24-hour period. I guess it's good for someone in his position. So if I have that much time during the day, I have no idea what I would do with it. Give it to me. Give it all to me. I need all that time. I could have 3 more hobbies. I definitely get more work done than I usually do. Well, it's fine that you were keeping watch. Again, I was only joking. Unless... I do enjoy watching this wolf get flustered.
You're just full of jokes, aren't you?
Should I be full of something else? He shakes his head with a slight laugh, sighing as he looks at the floor.
I think,
yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like staring for him. I'm like, hang on a minute. As it says, A hangs out of his mouth in a silly way. I take this moment of silence to ask about more important matters. Does the king request my presence? I realize that it's a bit foolish of me to dress for the occasion before even considering that I might not even get to meet the king today. I'm just looking forward to finally meeting him. I also want this feeling of being in the dark to go away.
I'm not even sure the king knows that you're awake at this moment, but I assume you will find out shortly. You'll most likely be able to speak with him during supper tomorrow.
That does sound interesting. I definitely wouldn't mind having a nice meal right now. Speaking of supper, I'm starving.
Don't worry, that's already been taken care of. Leaf would have sent for one of the servers to bring you some food by now. Especially since they won't have to feed you with that weird tube or the soup rag.
No! You can't bring it back. You can't bring back the cursed lore.
I've been fighting it back. I'm sorry, everybody. Soup rag, it's the way to go sometimes.
What is it, like a year and 5 months ago, I think? Toaster and I did a let's try of this game. So I've read the first, like, couple of scenes before. And this part... We talked about the soup rag. I don't remember what caused it besides that it must have been this part, but it was the idea that you'd like soak a rag in soup and then like wring it out in the mouth.
Ew.
Of the sleeping person.
Ew.
Well, because admittedly, I'm like, I don't Oh no, you would have had a tube by now. It's like, what would a tube even be made of in this time period?
We just came out with the upsetting soup rag. I don't remember how. May live
Did
on
say
an
his mouth
infamy.
didn't taste great.
Feel like I haven't brushed my teeth in a week.
Gross.
Did they seriously have to do that? I feel sick at the thought.
Only twice, and don't worry, it's not that bad. That little twerp may be a bit weird at times, but he knows his way around medicine and has been able to achieve things most wouldn't even imagine to be possible.
Yeah, we just slowly slide a tube all the way down your throat while you keep going in your sleep, and then we just like pour soup directly into your stomach. It's normal. Who's ready for their soup inflation? Just the upsetting idea, like just most deranged furry comic ever is like it's the wolf that feeds you in your sleep.
Oh my god.
Am I gaining weight?
Big stuff throat.
Oh god.
Anyway,
Misery, but for furries.
I just
Jesus
invented
Christ.
the Nightmare Gainer comic. Lyle has an odd relationship with the bird. It sounds like he respects him, though. From what I've seen, he seems to know his way around his work, and I trust him. He seems pretty jumpy, though. I wouldn't imagine he's the best at surgery. Unless he had help. Then again, I'm still here.
So, how did you find yourself in this position?
Well, you picked me up and you put me here.
Exactly.
I think... Did you have more in mind? Well, that came out of nowhere. I think for a moment about what I should say. I don't want to give away too much about myself, but the more I think about it, I realize there isn't much to give away. Well, I was granted nobility in the West, and I'm good at what I do. At least, I like to think that I am. Sometimes I feel like others have done all the work for me. Or the work I did was for others, not myself. Something like that. The look on Lyle's face tells me that this is a bit too vague.
What, that's it?
He has an unsatisfied look on his face, but then he shrugs.
I'm sure there's more to it.
Well, tough shit.
I'll find out in due time.
Well, if I'm going to tell you my life story, you'd better tell me yours. And I'll need a drink.
Deal. Wine's over here.
Immediately. It's not even the 18th hour by the time the sun disappears behind the mountains and I'm forced to light a few candles. That's 6 o'clock. For us dirty Americans. Which the writer is. I've taken off my coat, folded it, and set it down in the corner for tomorrow. Actually, is the writer American?
Yes.
I just know that I've met the writer in America. That doesn't mean that they actually live here.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Canada uses the 24-hour clock. I was at the 18-hour clock. Just total chaos clock. Just a nightmare you can't translate. Lyle is reclining in one of the chairs. His paws kicked up as he tells me about when he was a squire.
Of course, most of the time I just felt like an assistant.
His ears twist in the direction of the floor.
It wasn't always combat training.
Suddenly there's a knock at the door. His ears perk up and he sniffs at the air.
I thought I smelled food.
Really? Because all I can smell is wine. He stumbles getting up, yet confidently walks over to the door. Though he tries to hide it, he's a bit tipsy. I'd be surprised if he didn't trip over his cape. Then again, I don't have much of a clear head either. He swings open the door and greets the server.
Hello. Please, come in.
I'm trashed. Lyle steps back, and the servant enters, pushing a cart through. They walk under Lyle's arm like an archway as he... that's actually a funny visual, as he holds the door open for them. The cart is filled to the brim with all different types of foods. Some hot, some cold. Roasted duck, cooked fish, all laid on greens, surrounded by vegetables. There's they just like wheel in a whole fucking like the platform of food. You're like, what do I do with all this? Why are there 7 courses here? Is the what's left taken to the next room?
Oh god.
Steam right. I can't believe there's a platform 2. That's just
I
a
just
strange...
saw an ad for that the other day. I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck? What could they possibly do?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a Cube 3, so who knows? Those are very similar properties in a way. Steam rises off them like they were just pulled from the fire. There's some bread and cheese, with a weird sauce off to the side. On a side tray, there's a fresh bottle of wine with what looks to be a piece of mint. Thank you. I came out to the server. Congratulations. Standing in the
No,
doorway.
he said.
I call out to the server.
I'm gay, thank you.
Am I trashed?
Okay.
I'm gay. There's a full moon out. It's the perfect time for a werewolf to come
How are you
out.
doing? I'm gay.
God damn it. He nods in acknowledgement and leaves. Lyle stands there for a moment before adjusting his cape.
Well, I hope you enjoy your meal.
Sir,
He
I
makes-
just woke up. I can't do this by myself.
Yeah. He makes to leave the room, but before he can, I speak up. Oh, you're not going to join me? He pauses for a moment and turns to answer.
That's very generous of you, but I'll just go eat in my quarters later. Besides, I've already rated you of your wine. And I have certain things that I need to do.
I'm sad to see him go, but then again, he also looks a bit conflicted. I don't think I can be alone right now. I need some company after everything that's happened. After hours of company. Oh, come on. I insist. Besides, this is way too much food, even for someone who hasn't had a proper meal in days. My stomach has shrunk and I'll die. Clearly whoever sent this knew more than one person would partake. He turns away from the door before closing it, with a smile on his face.
As my lord commands.
He walks back over to one of the chairs and sits down. I take a nice portion of duck and place it on one side of the plate. The fish looks really good, so I grab some of that as well. Never had duck. I have no idea what that tastes like. Just as I'm about to head back to the seat, there's a piece of parchment folded up and placed in the center of the tray. I can't say if I've had the fish or not, because that's too ambiguous.
Yeah.
Pick up the note and read it. Enjoy. R. I pocket the note, and once I'm done, Liel begins filling up his plate. I just kind of stalled for a bit there. He takes quite a bit of the duck, and most of it is gone by the time he's done plating his food. And I thought I was taking a lot. He is bigger than me, and it makes sense that he would need more. A glass of wine was good enough for me, but for him, he needed a whole bottle. Gripping it in his paw, it was like a medicine bottle with how small it looked. The wine bottle? Is he 12 feet tall? Or are they smaller here than the one I'm imagining? Wine bottles are huge and like here, so I don't know what the reference is. He plops into his chair and starts to eat, cutting into the duck with a fork and knife. He's got like those like Gleipnir hands. Does that even scan for people? As he drags as he drags the knife through the meat, he continues his story.
Anyway, I squired for the Lord Bryn up until the age of 19.
Who, you or him?
Then I was made an anointed knight by the king.
I've heard most aren't knighted until they're at least 21. And now you're the captain?
Yes?
How old are you now?
22.
You're captain of the guard and you're only 22? I blurt this out, but end up regretting it when I see his bashful expression. Well,
Jericho, what was your instinct on how old you thought Lyle might be?
I was gonna say at least like 25.
Okay. Because that was definitely the immediate response in Toast, and I kind of agree. Where it's like, you are not 22, sir. You are like
Everyone's a tiny baby compared to me. Because I'm a gray muzzle. The vibe is not immediately that he'd be like super young 20s, but all the facial expressions are. Like the facial expressions make sense that he's pretty young because he's got extremely goofy faces. I did not mean to seem so surprised. I'm only just about to turn 20. I'm already being sent far away on diplomatic missions, so I guess I have no leg to stand on, especially after the accident. But still, to be knighted at such a young age.
Believe me, I was just as surprised as you are. But a captain usually has next in line selected in case they die. When Sir Runar died, it was revealed that he had me chosen as his successor.
Oh no, Runar Final Fantasy is dead.
Everyone said that he was grooming me for the command, but I didn't really expect to get there so soon. The king was pleased with this, though, so I didn't question it.
He takes a grape, pops it in his mouth. No, don't do that! Dogs can't eat grapes!
Oh, God. I didn't think about that.
And chews it with a distant look on his face.
You just downed all that wine!
No! Did you not want to be captain? He stops chewing for a moment, trying to process the question.
It's something that I absolutely wanted, but just happened so fast.
Yeah, I understand. It must be stressful to be put in a position like that so fast. Well, I'm sure you're doing a good job at it.
I hope so.
He takes another drink from his cup, making a loud slurping noise. I take a bite from my fish. It's the best food I've had in a long time. The fish tastes considerably different from the fish off the coast of Erin, but it's still so good. Maybe it's because I was so hungry. Or maybe it's the company. Lyle empties his cup, and then reaches for the pitcher to pour some more.
So, Richter, how old are you?
I'm 19. Tiny baby!
Yeah.
I've seen that character design. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I get it is. I mean, I'm also most curious about the whole ambassador side of things. Which, admittedly, I am so historically inept that I'm like, I don't know how old somebody in his position would normally be, but I would assume quite old.
He was very
like
popular in Noble High School,
right?
Which exists. He was voted prom king, and that means he's ambassador to Lyre now. Lyle, ambassador to Lyle.
You look a bit older than 19 to me.
I cock an eyebrow at him.
Not that that's a bad thing.
I know, I started reading that. Huh, well the same can be said for you, Scruffy. I drag my finger across my right eye, hinting at the scar.
I guess so.
He reaches up and rubs a paw over his eye while chuckling.
Though I prefer rugged over scruffy.
Aww.
Too bad. How did you get it? If you don't mind me asking. I bent over, hit my face on the corner of a desk while I was trying to throw something out. That's how I got stitches on my eyebrow.
Oh god.
I was at my dad's shop and I just went to like the reception desk because there's a trash can under it, and I bent over like too fast as like a kid and just gashed my eyebrow directly against the corner of the desk. And there was a part where I was just screaming and my dad was holding me down. My dad, I was screaming and my dad was holding me down, and he was like, it's fine, there's nothing there. And then he realized his hand was directly over the wound. So he was pushing down on it the whole time, which is probably why I was screaming. They had to shave my eyebrow off. I had stitches for an eyebrow instead of an eyebrow.
Oh god,
did you look cool though?
Lynch look.
No, because I was a lame nerd in elementary school that no one liked. So now I was just weirder. He contemplates for a moment, then pours more wine.
I'll tell you that story someday.
I just did.
And I need a lot more wine than this.
He lifts the bottle and sloshes it around slightly. His speech is a bit slurred due to the drunk state he's in. Oop. He takes a big drink from his cup and lowers it with a satisfied exhale. Just as a special favor to me. Make it a satisfied sigh. Because it has alliteration. It must be an interesting story.
That's one way to describe it.
It doesn't look recent. Did you get it during training? He just said he was going to tell you later.
Again, I'm sorry, but I'd really rather not talk about it right now.
I hold up my hands. I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to pry. Sometimes my curiosity gets the better of and I ask too many questions.
I understand. I can do the same thing sometimes, so don't worry.
He picks up his empty plate and sets it on the tray. I really hope I didn't make him too uncomfortable with that. Yeah, hiccups. Jericho
No.
hiccups. We call it
No.
Jericho's hiccups.
No.
Jericho hiccups.
No. I hate my sushi too fast.
God damn it. I'm finishing a piece of bread when I notice his eyes light up.
Can I have this piece of mint?
Like the leaf?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's garnish.
He holds up a little bundle of leaves, just barely pinching it between his claws and his gloves. Sure, you can have it.
Thank you.
He pops a piece of it in his mouth and chews on it.
Mm.
I finish my plate and place it on the tray as well. I'm feeling really tired now that I have some food in my stomach. Lael senses this and motions towards the door.
Thanks for letting me eat with you, but
He gets up from his chair with a grunt and past the lower part of his breastplate.
I should probably get going, and I'm sure that you're going to have a busy day tomorrow.
He starts walking towards the door. No need to thank me. You're good company. I thought that was in real life.
Did you turn behind you?
Yeah, I just heard a door. And huh? He smiles and opens the door.
Have a good night, and I'll be guarding the hall for a bit if you don't need anything. Or if you need anything.
Good night, and thank you.
You're welcome.
He stumbles to the door and closes it with a thud. I take off my clothes, blow out the candles, then fall into bed. I've only been awake for a couple of hours, but I feel so tired. My side still feels a bit sore, but it should be better with time. I try to sleep on my stomach, but it causes my side to hurt even more, so I lay down on my back instead. Lyle and Leaf seem very kind, especially Lyle. I'm glad that I was in their care while I was out. The wine gets to me, and I slowly drift off into a deep sleep. Imagine just trying to immediately sleep on your wound. We gotta put pressure on it, right? That's how this works. I don't know if it's like an ethics in gaming journalism thing or whatever, but I feel like I might want to mention that I have met the creator of this game before to the audience. We met at FWA.
I might want to mention that I've read this entire story before.
Oh shit.
I'm going to keep from speculating on plot events so just everyone understands I'm not disengaged.
Jericho needs to step up.
What? What?
It's actually fitting that not only did I meet Adamak at FWA, I met everyone here at FWA. We were all at the same convention together. There was some
We had a big pizza party.
Yep, it was Jericho's birthday, so we had a pizza party, and it was very funny because I looked up and down the tables, and once I was able to parse who everybody was, I was like, I have covered the visual novels of, I think I don't remember, I did a total that I think was based on how many visual novels I've covered based on the number of people, because some people have made multiple visual novels or worked on them, like Orion. I think the total was like 14 visual novels that I've already covered represented just at those tables. It was fucking weird. And I just went back and covered the couple that I hadn't yet, which is almost none of them in the time since. I was served a mixed drink during that convention that featured lavender and was called Amicus Bathwater.
What? Where?
That was in the room party we were in.
Yeah.
Really?
Were you not in that room
I
party?
didn't get to try his bathwater.
Yeah, I was handed bathwater by which person did it? I think it was the musician. There's probably more than one musician there. There's a lot of people. I think so. Yes. I'm trying to remember handles now. Is the
It was
handle
before we went to that panel. You remember that?
Is the hyena handle? Was it hyena blood? Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I know people's names and definitely don't lose track of the 17 names and handles everyone has.
Well, how was his bathwater?
It was the regular mixed drink. I definitely got hit when I stood up and was like, oh, okay. Chapter 2 is day 2. Yeah, no, I appreciate hanging out in rooms, talking about dumb, nerdy things, and being handed cocktails. that's a vibe I can deal with. It's less fun when everyone goes to the dance, and I'm like, I'm going to scream.
I went to the dance for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, I waited longer in line than I was actually at the dance.
That's normal. Yeah, that seems to happen.
It's good people watching, and that's about it when you're our kind
It was
of
a
person.
great experience, but I was very tired as per usual. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed. Bye.
Yeah, I like dances when they have chairs because you just go and sit down over there and listen to some music, but then just watch a bunch of fursuits dancing, but also you just get to see them all like milling in and out, and just like it's the same reason I like to go to the actual like dance competition is just seeing like the suits themselves and stuff and what they do with them.
Right.
Like a few of the dances I've been to have somebody that dresses up as a Kirin, like the fucking unicorn creature deity thing, and that thing is a quadrupedal suit that can stand up, and it's deeply surreal. So you'll see it walking around on all fours throughout the con, and when it gets to the dance competition, it'll stand up and dance bipedal. You're like, what the fuck? What is this Disney Imagineer nightmare suit? How'd somebody make this?
I need Fiona to participate in one of those dance-offs.
I'm like, I don't think you can buy this from Lemon Brat. Somebody just did something unhinged here.